Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you guys all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live to talk about my review of one of the greatest wrestling shows of all time. It's just so great. It's so great. It's produced by Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and all the production done by Kevin Bucktooth, done in that truck. And they are producing the greatest shit in the world. It's such good shit. As JR himself said, WWE Dynamite. We are live for this live review of this past week's show, the June 30th, 2021 edition. It was the final show of the pandemic era. It was such great shit with the WWE Dynamite champion Kenny Omega, the WWE Women's champion Britt Baker, and wait. You saying that show does not exist? Oh. Hang on one second, guys. Technical difficulties. Guys, we're back. We're good. I don't know. But we are live. Once again, guys, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And we are here live for my live review of AEW Dynamite. Not All Elite Wrestling. All Elite Wrestling. AEW Dynamite. Not WWE Dynamite, AEW Dynamite. Thanks to that hilarious botch at the end of this past week's episode of Dynamite. But yes, guys, once again, come on in. This is the Club of the Man 1993. I know it's like 9 minutes till SmackDown, but I don't care because I want to talk about this week's episode of Dynamite. As we, again, are live, as this took place on June 30th, 2021 at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. This was, again, the last episode of Dynamite in the pandemic era. Next week, AEW hits the road, and it will be in Miami for Road Ranger. And, of course, I am excited to say, of course, they will be here live in Pittsburgh on August 11th, 2021 for Dynamite. I'll be at that show live. I will not be able to go to the debuting AEW Rampage show. As of now, unless things fall through, I'm supposed to be going on a nice little trip that weekend with my girlfriend. Can't wait. And also, I'm excited for this week because I had a rough-ass week at work. So I am just glad to be free and just home, enjoy my holiday 3-day weekend. Well, technically not 3 weeks because I do have a wedding gig tomorrow. But, that's that. Let's talk about Dynamite. This was, again, the final episode of the pandemic era. Gotta say, excellent show. Was it perfect? No, a couple little, it is what it is things. But for the most part, it was a very good show. I thought it was great, especially that main event. That was an awesome main event match. And also, I loved the segment with Kenny Omega and the Dark Order. Loved that segment. That was genius of them. And it looks like we're getting the predicted match I'm thinking we're getting, I've been saying for a while, for AEW All Out. Or maybe not yet, but we're teasing it down the line. We'll have to wait and see, of course. And, we'll roll from there. So, live chat. We've got Mr. Q the Music laughing, enjoying my introduction. Thank you, man. I think, have you never been on this show before? I'm not sure I've ever seen the live chat, but good to have you join us. We also got Tyler giving us an A, and we're going back on the road. Yes, indeed, we are, and I'm glad. Although Daly's Place was rocking it, again, I'll forever say, if there's any show that handled the pandemic era great, it was definitely AEW. When there was no fans there, they had, just wrestlers be the fans, and it was organic because they were being themselves. Being their seasoned characters that made things just gel really well, made things feel much more better and much more fun to watch. And of course, they brought back, like 15% of fans, eventually full capacity. My goodness, again, Hangman Adam Page, Jungle Boy obviously gets some of the best reactions, definitely as baby faces. Sammy Guevara getting the big pops he gets. Chris Jericho's, music that gets sung to and slowly fade out when he comes in his intro. Again, give AEW plenty of credit. They knew how to handle the pandemic era. And props to them for sure, as I definitely look forward to seeing them hit the road and go to different places. Yes, we'll be back to Jacksonville, I think, the week before they come to PA, I think. I can't remember. But they will come back to Daly's Place. But, they've been here for 60 weeks. Now it's finally time to hit the road again. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do on the road. And having fans getting to, see these guys. And, of course, get big pops. These shows are going to be awesome and fire in July as we start, of course, have Road Rager, Fyter Fest nights 1 and 2, and Fight for the Fallen. Also, it's going to be a very fun month for AEW. Let's roll in and talk about this show. And once again, remember, this is AEW Dynamite, not WWE Dynamite, as I had in your introduction. In case you guys missed it, here was the graphic. Literally found a graphic of Kenny Omega as WWE Champion. Oh boy. Anyways, let's just roll in and talk about this show. Because I do want to also finish my Money in the Bank card predictions. Also, I asked this. I did see the Talk is Jericho episode with Lana is available. I did not listen to any of it yet. That is one I'm very interested in. So please, 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 no spoilers. Please, no spoilers. Let's roll and let's talk. So, Chris Jericho was on commentary. The opening match was supposed to be Rey Fenix and Penta El Zero Miedo versus Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. Rey Fenix was injured though, so who replaced him? Eddie Kingston. And it was a eliminator match basically. Pretty much, if Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo won, they would become number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. And a good match, good back and forth, some good near falls. Eddie Kingston, of course, is super over with the crowds. I've always people get Eddie Kingston over. One of the best on the microphone. Get him and Samoa Joe in the ring together. Have them have a promo war. I actually think that would be, I know, the Wednesday night wars are over, but if they really need, a promoist on each show to compete with each other, if they ever had, two worlds clash and compete with each other, it would have been NXT versus AEW. Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston in a promo war would have been excellent. Would have loved it. Not gonna get it, but all cool with me. Eddie and Penta all won, thanks to Brandon Cutler accidentally spraying Matt Jackson in the face, and then Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter as they call him, laying him out, and then Eddie Kingston lays out Matt Jackson, and I think it's next week. Penta El Zero Miedo and Eddie Kingston is gonna get a shot to the world champion for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So they've kind of continued on the feud, even though they beat them at Double or Nothing and wrote off Moxley, but obviously again Eddie Kingston still wants some revenge on the Elite for what they've done with Jon Moxley ever since Kenny Omega took the AEW World Title from Jon Moxley back at Winter is Coming. So that'll be interesting to see what happens next week with that match. You have Christian Cage backstage telling Jungle Boy how proud everyone is of him, how he can take something from his loss and be better than ever. He's going to be champion someday. But tonight, he could be the first AEW wrestler to make history, as he's going for his 50th win on this show. Luchasaurus rolls up with Marco Stunt and thanks Christian for having Jungle Boy's back while he was out, and dinosaurs are very loyal, so he's got Cage's back now. Christian admits to being a quarter Cosmo Ceratops on his mother's side, and the two walk off chatting. Basically, they say there's somewhat of an alliance now. Ethan Page then comes out with Scorpio Sky. Page says he hasn't been doing enough, and his goal isn't to beat Darby Allin, but to exterminate him. Nobody has tried to cripple him more than him, and no matter where he throws him, where he does, it keeps ticking. So the coffin match is meant to cripple Darby Allin. He's going to beat him in this coffin match, and when he does, every time he goes up for a coffin drop, he's going to think of Ethan Page letting him in the coffin and closing it shut on his confidence forever. And then enters Sting, wheeling out a coffin. And then Darby Allin pops out of the coffin, and then Sting takes out Scorpio Sky with a Scorpion Death Drop, while Darby Allin claws Ethan Page's eyes out. And but then when that happens and they break it up, Ethan says that Darby knows he can't beat him at 100%, so the match next week is off. And maybe if he behaves, maybe the match is going to take place at Fyter Fest. So I guess this is them just stalling on this, giving the suspense as to when this match is going to really happen. Sorry guys, I need to blow my nose. Hang on 1 second. Time out. Just as I walked away, I noticed I had a tissue right in my pocket. So anyways, back to... Sorry, wrong show. AEW Dynamite. But it looks like they're kind of playing this game where, Ethan Page is probably going to stall and obviously on this match a little bit, and wants to basically do it on his own terms. So whenever it happens, it'll happen. The match sounds pretty cool, though. I mean, well, like I said before, it's basically a casket match. They're calling it a coffin match because, Darby Allin does, the coffin drop. So I mean, it would be sick to see Darby Allin go for the coffin drop, He lands in the casket and Ethan closes it, but I'm pretty sure Darby's winning that match against Ethan Page. But like I said, we'll see where to go with it. But we'll see what happens. So I'm waiting for it. It should be good. We also have Jungle Boy Jack Perry get that 50th win over Jack Evans in a pretty good match. After the match, Christian Cage and Jurassic Express come down and end up brawling with Matt Hardy and his crew come out. Cage then chokes Matt Hardy with his own jacket, but then Jack Evans makes a save and Hardy gets away, but then Christian beats down Jack Evans. Again, probably at some point, if a match between Hardy and Cage is probably going to happen. If it doesn't happen at any of the July specials, Road Rager, Fyter Fest, or Fight for the Fallen, then they're probably just going to save it till All Out. He still could do another match there, but yeah, these guys do have history. As a tag team, as singles, again, interesting. So we'll see, of course, where that goes with that. Oh. Then we have MJF, who talks about how he's dethroned Christopher Jericho as the king of AEW. And you'd think you'd throw the towel in and quit when you're bested, but instead, he's turned AEW to his own perverted Looney Tunes. This is the best he can come up with. How low is he willing to stoop? We're going to find out next week, as MJF's going to be revealing stipulations for one last match against him. So kind of, in some ways, hopefully not identically the same, maybe something a little bit different. We're going to see, he's basically going to put Jericho through hell, just like he put Cody Rhodes through hell, for him to get a match with him at Revolution. And again, we've already seen Chris Jericho and MJF have a match at Full Gear last year. It was fine. I don't know what it was. I feel like, it just didn't quite click. I feel like they took it a little bit easier. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. But of course, this one with more, bad blood between them, could be better. But basically, he's going to be going that route, putting Jericho through some hell before they have a match. So, and all we request that if he makes it through the stipulations, which he doesn't think Jericho will, is that once he beats him, he leaves him alone. Now, on to Sammy Guevara fans. They want to see a match between them because they want to know what the future of AEW is. And after their match, they're going to say Sammy is the future because it's going to be clear that Max is the now. But Jericho's on commentary and he's going to accept any stipulation, short getting run over with a truck. And of course, hypes up for the main event match, Sammy Guevara and MJF, which we'll get to that in a little bit. Andrade El Idol's interview backstage, he says that he had a great announcement, but Matt Seidel, whose name he cannot remember, I think it was called Matt something, interrupted him, and he wants to make an example of him in a match in Miami at Road Rager. So that's going to be Andrade El Idol's debut match in the ring in the AEW. It'll be him versus Matt Seidel. Okay. Then we have this segment. Again, this is another segment that I love. So, I said recently that I think it was on just last episode of Dynamite when I reviewed that a couple days ago from Saturday Night Show. I said how they're not really hinting at a match with Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. Well, then they really lit the fire here. Let me tell you something. I loved it. It was just perfect. They didn't say his name in front of Kenny Omega. They just teased it. Of course, they had Hangman, be interviewed by it later. But I love this. Kenny Omega was in the ring, motivating, and gets up out of bed every day because upon further reflection, he beat not only the toughest guy and the greatest high flyer and the greatest, most charismatic act, he also defeated the most promising upcoming star in AEW in Jungle Boy. He's going to go around the world and beat some dudes, but his work here is far from over. Out comes Evil Uno and the Dark Order. But Evil Uno said, you just said you have no challengers here. Kenny confirms, and Evil Uno says he thinks differently. Omega's like, huh? Like we don't even do wrestle a guy like Alan Angels. Tells him to turn around and walk back around to the tunnel. Uno admits that he's right. None of the Dark Order have wins to justify a title match. But somebody does. Someone who they've befriended and that Kenny Omega used to be friends with. Because this guy ranks number 1 in the ranking system. And Kenny says he's talking about who. If you're talking about who you think you're talking about, you wouldn't appreciate Uno speaking on his behalf. And if he's talking about that person, he'll think he has the guts to face Kenny Omega. If he's talking about that person doesn't himself think he has the right to hold that title up and call himself champion. So unless he has something else to say, some trick up his sleeve, then this is where he bids them an adieu and goodbye and good night. Mic drop, bitches. We teased it. That was great. I mean, they had an interview later with Hangman backstage, but if the plan is to do Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page at All Out, again, you just really lit the fire perfectly. Kept their distance, didn't overproduce it, didn't make it feel too much. I mean, it was obvious, what they're trying to go with there, but they didn't say the name. They just teased it. Like, it was more than just like a little nudge. It was like, ooh, like a big nudge, but it didn't feel too much. It was a great segment. I loved it. And if it is we're thinking it is, we could have already had our main event for All Out teased. Let's hope they still move forward that good. Brian Pillman Jr. has a promo. He talked about growing up, he had good friends and teammates who believed in him, and Griff Garrison is like a brother to him. So when Miro laid hands on him, he made this real personal. And it's more than a title match. It's Pillman proving that Miro is nothing but a big bully. A big Bulgarian bitch. And then he had a match with Miro for the TNT Championship. Which, by the way, looks like Miro kind of repackaged a little bit. He called himself now in his intros as the Redeemer. New theme music, and he's no longer the best man. I guess, he moved on from that. But, cool with me. He had a good match with Brian Pillman Jr. And Miro would win by referee stoppage when the Body Scissors sleeper hold and retains the title. As he should. It's looking good. Like I said, I'm glad, again, they struck while the iron was hot with Miro at the right time. They chose to, because like I said, he felt a little bit directionless, after after the whole wedding segment with him, Kip, and Penelope Ford, and it really didn't lead to much tension. I say true, as in, like, to me it wasn't really convincing that there was much tension with Kip Sabian and Miro, because nothing else really happened other than the fact that they just went their separate ways and Miro just wanted to, beat the crap out of Kip Sabian. But, like I said, Miro's done a great job as champion. Again, he was the right person for Darby to drop it to. I have nothing else to complain. Then we have the Dark Order backstage with Hangman. And Hangman yells at them for making stupid challenges, but Colt Cabana tells him he's just afraid of failure, and he needs to know he can do this. They give him a pep talk and tell him they believe in him. And obviously Hangman is like, nah, I shouldn't do it. But they're like, nope, go ahead and do it. So Kenny doesn't want to admit, and it's true, Hangman is technically number 1 contender because he ranks number 1, but Hangman's like, I don't think I got this, guys. So interesting build to the match. We'll see where it goes. We have also footage of Team Taz, who Taz admits things are going to disarray with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. It's been toxic, and he's tired of this, and Hobbs says someone needs to figure this out. So on July 14th, I think it's the first night of Fyter Fest, Brian Cage will defend the championship against a medically cleared Ricky Starks. Kind of like, I don't think this is a full, breakup of team tags here, but it's kind of like that match where it's like, yeah, they're still a team, but they're going to let off some steam, basically, in this FTW championship match. So, we'll see where that goes. Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel had a match with Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. Just was what it was. Again, if they're trying to make, Rebel a babyface, Nyla Rose a babyface in this feud, like, Britt's going to get over no matter what, but you're not going to turn Britt face. You're going to make her a heel still no matter what. But, this was fine, nothing special. They win with Dr. Britt Baker putting the lockjaw in on Vicky Guerrero to get the victory. She taps out. Nyla Rose lays out Britt after the match with a beast bomb and hoists her up again, and beast bombs her over the ropes and through a table. That'll be fine. Like I said, they had a good match in the Elimination Tournament, but like I said, as far as a long-term feud, just pass by this, I'd say. We have also a segment with Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz from a stairwell. They point out that every time they fight, the Pinnacle get their ass whooped. Hager points out that Wardlow took his loss well, but then his buddies had to jump in, and MJF had laid Dean Malenko out. Santana says when they finally meet head-to-head, they better bring all the fight they can, and says Tully Blanchard is going to be in FTR's corner. Best believe Conan will be in theirs. And then we have MJF coming out, and the main event match, MJF, Sammy Guevara, excellent match. Excellent match. Again, this could have been saved for a pay-per-view. I mean, like, an excellent match to end the pandemic era, on live TV, but just excellent altogether. Two young guys, 27 and 25. I think Sammy's my age, maybe 2 months older. MJF, who's actually a couple years older than MJF. Keep forgetting he's only 25, I think. But just, he's awesome already. Excellent work. Excellent chemistry. My favorite spot was definitely Sammy's jump. He tried to outdo Ricochet. I think he may have done it. He did a jump off the top rope, across into the crowd, and does like a cannonball, onto MJF. I also like the spots like Sammy took a couple nasty bumps. He even took a pile driver from MJF but kicked out of it. And it looked like Sammy was going to pull off the win and get the victory here. But then Shawn Spears got involved in the base off of distraction. From Wardlow, and like a brawl outside of the ring, Shawn Spears cracks Sammy Guevara in the head with a chair, and off that chair shot, since the referee didn't see it, MJF rolls in and pins Sammy Guevara to get the victory. Again, it was, MJF's not going to that victory again, but just an excellent, heel win. Not going to knock it, because, again, it was an excellent storytelling match with a lot of chaos involved and a lot of great spots. Very fast-paced, a very brutal grudge match. It was great. And then after that, of course, they acknowledged that this is the end of the pandemic era, and they showed this really nice video package from the first Dynamite in front of an empty arena to all the way up to this day, and some stuff along the way, including, of course, again, some debuts like Brody Lee, Matt Hardy, Miro, Andrade El Idolo, Sting, big title wins such as Darby Allin getting the win, Kenny Omega getting the win, Eddie Kingston, all sorts of big moments they showed, and it was very heartfelt and beautiful. Just for that botch to happen at the end as it's going off the air, JR mentions it's always a good time tonight with WWE Dynamite. And I'm like, he didn't say that, did he? He did. He sure as hell said WWE Dynamite. And I cracked up, but I can forgive JR for it. It's not an upset, but it was just oh boy, like, is Vince gonna flip out on that? Like, are they gonna purposely, like, knowing Vince, he purposely fired back and call it AEW SmackDown or something like that. Like, if anybody's watching SmackDown right now and they said that, just tell me now, but I highly doubt it. But, yeah, just a hilarious botch, and, just gotta laugh about it. But that was Dynamite, guys. I gave it a B+. Again, I love the main event. Love the promo by MJF, of course, also, hyped up there's going to be stipulations for Jericho to get one more match with him. I love the segment with Kenny Omega, basically being told that Hangman should be coming for him next. Hangman's like, nah, not really, but he is. Good opening match, the tag match, good TNT title match. Can't complain. I mean, yeah, the stuff that was just like, whatever to me was basically the stuff with, Britt and Nyla. Like, that is what it is. The match is going to be good, but the rest of it, whatever. But, yep. And of course, this is the last actual Dynamite review. As the next few weeks, we're going to treat like pay-per-view reviews, as we have Road Rager next week, as we hit the road again, back into Miami. We have one wrestling show we can safely say, the pandemic, well, kind of NXT also, because there's a live crowd there, no more, virtual, but the pandemic era in AEW is over. And in wrestling, it is slowly coming to a close. How will WWE handle it for Raw and SmackDown? Let's wait and see. But I'm going to go do that. I'm also going to work on my Money in the Bank card predictions. I'm going to do my best also to make sure I get my SmackDown review in tonight. I work a wedding all day tomorrow, and I'm going to be at my girlfriend's on Sunday and Monday. So I will not be around for any other videos. So, yep. Guys, that's going to do it. That's my review of AEW Dynamite and WWE Dynamite. What were your thoughts on this show, guys? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, what was your thought on the botch as well by JR? Live chat. Tyler just mentions about how Edge is going to face Roman. He feels like Bryan should have had no business involved in that, and how JR botched it. Basically did. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it. Again, I'll try back here for SmackDown. I'm going to try to get my Money in the Bank card done tonight also, and we'll go from there, guys. And we should be all caught up very soon. So, guys, once again, what are your thoughts on the show? I gave the B+, hair in my mouth. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, DeMayorBrownie3. And guys, with that, I'm checking out. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Peace out, everybody.